Well, first match of the season is done, and now is the time to look at proper predictions for the season. I have held off before now, wanting to sort of see a little tiny bit. I suppose the perfect time to judge would be sort of May, but that's, that's cheating a little bit. Right then, I'm not doing for the typical who's going to finish top. I think I've got 8 that I think are going to finish in the top 8. And that's sort of a mix and match. We can perhaps do more later on, sort of tighten it up again. But yeah, my top 8 in no particular order. I'm going to go through those. And also the bottom 6. So the 6 teams that are likely to struggle. And then that leaves a big melee in the middle, sort of 9th to 18th, as it were. Right then, yeah, we've got Barrow and Crewe. Barrow, narrow victory yesterday. People have predicted Barrow to struggle a bit this season. And Crewe as well. Don't see either of them in my top 8 or the bottom 6. MK Dons, shock. Lost at home to Bradford. About that. MK, expecting a lot. They've made quite a few changes. So that's maybe unsettled them a bit. I think they will come good. Despite their home defeat. MK make my top 8. Bradford, they all seem to promise and fail to deliver. So Bradford, not in my top 8 and not in my bottom 6. Cheltenham, Newport, both struggling, both predicted to struggle. Cheltenham, looks like they've signed George Miller. So that's going to be a good addition for them. I think that's going to help them. And Newport lost a lot of players, haven't they? I think they're going to be in the bottom 6. Cheltenham, I think, in the middle melee. Next up, Doncaster, Accrington. Well, Doncaster were like a steam train at the end of last season. They've strengthened and start off excellent. Billy Sharp getting on the mark already. 4-1 win, Accrington. Doncaster Rovers, no surprise, make my top 8. Accrington make my bottom 6. Wimbledon, AFC Wimbledon, 4-2 winners at home to Colchester. Colchester tipped to do very well this season, but they took a 2-goal lead and then lost 4-2. So that tells you a lot about both sides, doesn't it? AFC Wimbledon, yeah, home game for them. Omar Bogiel got his first goal of the season as well. And Matt Stevens, of course, penalty. Wimbledon, do they make my top 8? Yes, they do. Colchester, the midfield melee, I think. Fleetwood, Grimsby. Grimsby tipped to have a good season. And Fleetwood sort of tipped to be near to it, but not quite. And I think I would say the same. Both in the midfield melee. Gillingham against Carlisle. Carlisle tipped to do very well. We know they've got lots of money behind them. It was a tough start for them away to Gillingham. And Gillingham 4-1. Definitely in my top 8, Gillingham. Carlisle, I still think they'll make top 8. Yeah. Salford, Port Vale. Salford struggled. Port Vale bashed them 2 goals, second half goals. Ben Garrity doing the damage. Port Vale, I think they're going to make the top 8. And Salford, maybe the bottom 6. Harrogate, Bromley. Now, we have to watch out for a Bromley player. Michael Cheek. He's scores likely 15 goals a season regardless. And he's already off the mark. Cam Grant also got a goal in a 2-0 away win at Harrogate. Harrogate predicted to struggle. They made my bottom 6. Bromley, they don't. I think they're going to be in the midfield melee. I think they're going to be okay. Next up, Walsall Morecambe. Obviously, we were there. Taylor Allen getting the goal. Walsall still struggling for strikers. And potentially going to affect their season unless they get that sorted. They don't make my top 8. Don't want to be over egging it as it were. If Walsall get some decent strikers in, then perhaps we might sort of fight up that end. At Morecambe, I do feel sorry for Morecambe. I spoke to a couple of their fans, and they know they're struggling. I could see them being on the back of a bit of a hammering from a few teams. Adams is going to sort them out, surely, but enough to keep them up is going to be tough. They're definitely a banker for bottom 6 for me. Tranmere and Notts County fought out a 0-0, which tells us one thing. Notts County have sorted out the defence, which is a possible one. Tranmere, I think they're going to be in the midfield melee. Notts County, I think, could just about make the top 8, I think. Final 2, Chesterfield Swindon. They fought out a 1-1 draw. Any team with Will Griggin is going to cause teams trouble. So Chesterfield make my top 8. And Swindon, there's a few saying they'll struggle, but they make my midfield melee. Right then, that's my predictions. Who's going to win the league out of the top 8? Well, I think we'll review that at the end of the month, shall we? Don't want to get too far away. And Walsall, what's going to happen with Walsall? Where do you think Walsall will finish? I did predict 18th, but I think I've been a little bit harsh. But we've not had any big, tough games yet, because Morecambe was one of the easiest we'll face this season, I think. So we'll see. Walsall TV, the joy and the pain. Thanks for watching. Cheers.